Hello and welcome back to Solutions with Lane. I'm Lane. If you're new here, I am a addiction recovery coach, life coach, and hypnotist here to teach you about manifestation as awareness and not through effort. If you did want to work together one-on-one, I have coaching services. I have mini courses. If you want to check out, it's completely free. The first one is Awareness Reset. It teaches you how to get into the present moment and to drop and dissolve the identification with, the different identities and characters that we've been playing roles of. So that's something that you can check out. Also, you can join the Source Code membership. We meet every single Saturday in a live stream. You can do a little bit of Q&A and obviously exclusive content. I'm even thinking about doing a book recommendations of what I'm currently reading, and then you guys can read it as well. And, maybe talk about that as well. But yeah, so what we are going to be talking about in this video today, okay? And again, previous videos, we're in the same outfit. We're batch recording today, so I'm not a scum and just wear only one outfit. I have other clothes, just same day. Okay, so anyways, let's talk about the thoughts not being the problem. The identification is what the problem is. We get really scared of our thoughts on this journey because we're hearing things like thoughts create from people that don't really understand what they're even teaching. People teach from the level of consciousness that they're at, and a lot of people unfortunately regurgitate information that they haven't really actually applied themselves or even know. They read it out of a book and nope, this must be true, or I saw it in a video, this must be true, I'm going to start, whatever. Again, not bashing other coaches, it is what it is, but that's why I said people teach at their own consciousness. So with that being said though, there's nothing to be scared of with your thoughts. Your thoughts are constantly coming and going. And there's many times in my own life to where I had really good thoughts about myself. And I always use the example of specific person just because, well, that's what a lot of people are here to do is manifest love, which, hey, kudos to you. Love is love. Love it. Anyways, but with that being said, in my own personal life, before a specific person had come in, I was feeling really, really good about myself. My thoughts were really good. I was feeling peaceful, etc. We all been there, just on our good era of things feeling good, our body's feeling good, everything's going good, we're making money, we're just, I remember those moments, right? And the type of thoughts I was having were really peaceful and just in alignment, and I felt very secure at those times. And then, I had to get introduced to somebody, and we'd hit it off, and I'd start talking to them and getting to know them and having really positive thoughts about them, really positive thoughts about myself, and positive thoughts about the potential relationship that we could get into and just how amazing everything is. And I start to become dependent on that person as the source of happiness. But Eckhart Tolle says, whatever your source of happiness is, they are also going to be the source of your unhappiness. And that's what would happen is, because I was so attached to this person, thinking that they're the reason why I'm so happy, this is my soulmate, my person, oh my God, we're going to get married, and it's just so amazing, I feel so good, and da-da-da, that attachment begins to sink in, and as, again, Eckhart Tolle calls a pain body, starts to surface, and the suffering starts to come up, the insecurity, the judgments, the analyzing their behavior, all of it starts to come up. And you project that onto the other person. You're having all of these thoughts from those insecurities that you have underneath the surface. You start accusing and blaming people, and you're starting to feel shame for it. How did I not see this before? And I'm starting to really see their true colors. They don't even care about me, and I just feel so alone. I wish I never met this person, but I just want to work on this, but I'm so attached. I need space, but I can't. I get it. I remember those days, guys. But with that being said, those thoughts shifted and changed so quickly, where at one point this person was bringing out such positive thoughts about you and your relationship, and then the next moment, when the pain body arises, you're having completely different thoughts about yourself, the person, and the relationship. So that's how we know we are not our thoughts, because it's constantly shifting and changing to whatever whatever we're identifying with. In those moments when, things are really good with you and your partner, or you're on your own and things are really good and peaceful, you're identified with peace. You're identified with happiness, right? You're identified with the character that's okay in this moment. You're not identified with the suffering or the pain, because you have no attachment set in. You're still in that phase of like, things are good, I'm good, this person's really cool, I have no expectations. And then as soon as you start really getting to know them, or you start falling for them and having a different relationship, like attachments and stuff. And I also want to say, it just popped in my mind, like falling for somebody. Think about that. It's kind of, what comes to mind is like falling from grace, right? You're falling for somebody else. Why did we say it's falling in love? I can't stand that anymore, because yeah, you are falling. When you don't know yourself and you're identified with this attachment, this need for this person, you are falling. It's not in love. You're falling from who you truly are in your connection as source. That's what's happening. That just popped in my mind. That wasn't supposed to, I don't know. Hey, well, anyways. As I was saying though, you're identified with these thoughts in that moment, but those thoughts are constantly shifting and changing. When you are source and you know yourself as source, you're no longer identifying with these different characters and the roles and the behaviors and the assumptions and the projection of like somebody doing something and you're taking it personally and you're a victim, and people always do this, and their true colors are finally being revealed and waiting for the other shoe to drop. You're no longer identified with all of that conditioning, all of that suffering, all of that hurt and that pain that comes up when you actually start to fall for this person. What you'll notice though is finally when you let go of those things, right? Those thoughts, those behaviors, those reactions, and you know yourself as source, the identification begins to shift and change. It no longer is able to really grab your attention, or you start to become aware of it when it does try to pull for your attention. And that's the most powerful shift, is you're no longer reacting to the things that you used to react to. Again, that's how you know you're not your thoughts. That's how you know that you're not even these identities that you've been embodying. That's why there's nothing to do with like self-concept. You don't have to change your self-concept. As soon as you let go of the identification with who you think you are or who you think you want to be, as soon as you let go of the identification with the thoughts and the character and the trying and the needing to control, and you know yourself as awareness, as God, that's when the true power starts to be revealed to you. That's where the manifestation starts to unfold effortlessly for you. The only reason why you don't have what you want is because of your identification with the lack and the scarcity and the trying and the effort. Your mind, your ego will try to create a character out of, I'm a manifester. It will even be tricky and try to create a character out of, I'm God. The ego is just doing whatever it needs to survive. That's why I continue to say in every single video, do your best to return to the present moment. As soon as you notice that you're not being present, return. And just by that noticing, that's enough. You're already returned to the present moment. You're already returned as awareness, as God. Because you're not unconscious anymore and just on autopilot, just going through your day or thinking your thoughts. That's how you dissolve the identification with these different characters, the identification with these thoughts. Neville Goddard said it. You are already who you want to be. Your refusal to believe it is why you don't see it. So if you are already who you want to be, then there is no self-concept work that you have to do. There's no thoughts that you need to change or affirmations that you need to reprogram and beliefs and none of that shit. Because you are already who you want to be, which that's God. That's who you want to be, is source, peace, love. That's why we are attracted to these people and get attached to these people, because at one point we assigned meaning that they're the ones and the reason why I feel so happy, feel so at peace, feel so secure, feel so loved. But that was already within you, because that's all coming from God. We just gave it the meaning that, no, it's this person that's the source of my happiness. And because I gave it that meaning that this person is the source of my happiness, now they have to be the source of my unhappiness as well. Which is what Eckhart Tolle says. So if that's the case, guys, we need to break the identification in the attachments. And that's what Neville was also saying by your refusal to believe it is why you don't see it. Because you're refusing to believe that you are this awareness, this source, this God. Because your ego is telling you otherwise. Your ego is trying to tell you, no, you're this character. You see this circumstance. Let me grab your attention. Focus on that circumstance. Focus on the feelings of how hurt you are by their actions of blocking you and ghosting you and being in contact. Focus on how long it's been. Focus on trying to manifest. Focus on trying to watch that video to try that technique. Your attention is divided, and then that's why you're feeling how you're feeling and feeling so lost, because you're identified with all of these different characters. You're identified with all of this trying and doing and solving. You're refusing to believe who you truly are, that you are already who you want to be. It's that simple, guys. So it's the identification that's keeping you stuck. The identification that's keeping your manifestation an arm's length away. It's almost there. I feel it. It's so close. I'm getting the signs. That's why. Because you're identified with the one that doesn't have. The character never has. It's never enough for the characters. Because it's never enough for the ego. The only thing that will ever be enough is the fulfillment of knowing yourself as God. The fulfillment of the desire is knowing yourself as God. That's the only way that you are actually going to feel at peace and not move on from one thing to the next thing. I like this person, but they're starting to not treat me so good, so I'm going to move on to somebody else. I can do better. There's something better. How many times have you heard that shit? There is no this or something better. It's all a projection of your consciousness. You get to decide. What is it that you want? If it's not that person or that object or that car or that house, then what is it that you want? The ego tries to tell you it's all of these different things, and you'll just never be satisfied. You'll have to settle. Something's better than nothing. That's all the ego. That's all identification with the ego. God knows what you want. That's why you have the desire. But then ego tries to muddy it and say, yeah, but what about this flaw in that person? Or what about, with that house? It's kind of close to the street, and it's got an opinion about everything on how it's just not good enough. You like it, but I don't know. And it creates that separation. It creates that lack. It creates it's just not enough. It's not perfect. When everything is perfect, because it's consciousness. It's all you. So, the doorway to God and knowing yourself as God, as I say in just about every video now, because it's my favorite quote, be still and know yourself as God. Be still and know I am God. Be still. Be present. That's the doorway into awareness. Being present. Focusing on your breath, your body, and your surroundings. It's simple, guys. All right. I don't want to make this video too long, like I say in every single video, but it tends to go longer than I intended for. But it's all good. It's all good. All right, guys. Thank you for being here. I appreciate you guys. If you do want to dive in deeper on these topics, please check out the source code membership. You can join it down below. Appreciate you guys being there. But yeah, remember, as awareness, you got this.